except the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, the only Praman that explains the appearance of Radha Kunda is Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe in the 45th chapter of 10th canto, verse 3. So Gurudev pointed this out to me. He met several times because he's living here for 80 years in Braj, and he met many times with Ananda Babaji Maharaj. He said, why don't you change the calendar? So I don't want to change the Hindi Bengali Radha Kunda Panchang to make this new date. But he gave me an order. He said, try to make it known to the public. Make it wide, make it known. That was 2017. So we had the first annual Appearance Day bath in 2017. There was 5 devotees. Babaji Maharaj, my Guru, Pandit Sri Krishna, myself, Hari Katha Babaji, Pranabhava, and his wife Yamuna, 2 Russian devotees and 1 American devotee, and 2 Indian devotees. That was the first annual appearance, bathing ceremony of Radha Kunda. So that was quite nice. Gurudev, he told me, he said, you should get a rickshaw and put big silver speakers on it and ride all around town in Hindi and Bengali, tell this appearance day. And Hari Charan, who's a Bengali, he said, we do that, everyone will kill us. Because everyone's commonly thinking it's Balasmi. So I did it my own soft way. I made articles on Facebook. I sent my article to all the ISKCON sannyasis and leaders. And somehow it got to the higher-ups in ISKCON, and they passed a resolution in the year 2020 or maybe 2019 or 2020. They made an official ISKCON GBC resolution to change the official date of the appearance of Radha Kunda from Vahalasmi to Chaitra Purnima. That's a resolution on the books of ISKCON. And then when they published the resolution, they said, after we did intense philosophical research, we discovered, and I wrote a whole post about it. No, Vankro, Garamhava, yeah. Vakisha Torah Tandahava, that's like, Hades. So this is a secret. It's good because not many people know, so it's not crowded. It's very beautiful, the full moon night of Chaitra Purnima, Raslila, it's really nice. So I invite everyone to come. So that's the little pitch about that, I guess. I make a new file. I make new files for everything here.
What date was that again? Sorry?
April 16th, Saturday night, Chitra Nakshatra. Because sometimes the Purnimas are by Tithi, according to Hindi Panchang, by Tithi maybe the next day is the day is a Tithi of Purnima, but the nakshatra is not there, different nakshatra. So it has to be Chitra Nakshatra, which happens to be 16th night.
We will have programs here on your roof?
No, I'm just going to go. 11 o'clock, I'm going to go there. The only program is over there. I'm going to send on the phone everybody, Radha Kunda, because everybody has a phone. If you have a heart, you have a phone. If you take out your heart, you're dead. You take out your phone, you're dead. So wherever your heart is, your phone is next door. Sometimes in a pocket. The men carry it right in their heart. My heart. I have 2 hearts. One heart's my apple. My other heart's my real heart. Real heart is shaped like an apple also. But anyway, so we're gonna 11 o'clock. We're gonna go there and chant the prayer. And I told everyone we're gonna Gigwick well for Gigwick and Haribol. I don't have too much programs. I have a big scene out of it. I'll send everybody the prayer and invite everybody and make some noise about it and stuff. Okay, but I won't take any questions right away. I'm reading Bhakti Sandarbha. I found a very interesting part of Bhakti Sandarbha being presented by Dr. Satyanarayana Das Babaji Maharaj and his commentaries and a beautiful translation. It explains, because when we read the Bhagavatam and other Gaudiya Granths, Gaudiya Vaisnava scriptures, we hear or any Puranas you read, hear about the fantastic power and effects of Bhakti Bhajan. Vishnu Bhakti Bhajan, Ram Bhakti Bhajan, Krishna Bhakti, Radha Krishna Yuga Upasana, whatever. Krishna Bhakti Bhajan. Well, you get prem, you get siddhi, you get perfection, kama, sabha, anything you want you can get by bhakti. All we want is Supreme Seva Radharani. We don't want anything more. That's good enough. That's everything. So different people have different objectives. But by a touch of bhakti, whether you're doing karma, gyan, yoga, ashtanga yoga, without some touch of bhakti there, you won't get the fruit of those other yoga pursuits. So fantastic things like somebody's a sinner the whole life. They're living with a prostitute. They have 10 kids with a prostitute. And at the end of life, they say Narayan. They say one time Narayan, and all of a sudden they don't go to hell. All the sins they did, all the thousands of sins they've committed as a Brahmin, fallen Brahmins. So that shows the power of Nam. Because why did it have effect? Because it was offenseless, no offense. So in the Bhakti Sandhara, towards the end of this part 1, he explains 5 aparads that block the fantastic effects of bhakti happening. Like some of us are doing bhakti for 5 years, 10 years, in this life, 20 years in this life. What about last life? Do you know? Sometimes you go to some Jyotishi or some Brigu reader or some Nadi reader and they tell you about your prior lives or this or that. Even Krishna says in Gita, chapter 6, verse 44, Purvabhyasena riyate yavasho. Purva means our prior practices, our last life sadhana bhakti practices, riyate yavasho. Automatically, by heart, we're attracted to those practices in this life. Look at it, people here from Russia, Germany, America, Croatia, all the different places, Italy. And everyone's chanting Hare Krishna, worshiping Hare Krishna. How is it possible? Because the last life, what's going on? It's just continuation. It's a long journey to prema. The goal is prema. The goal is not mukti. The goal is prema. Prema se arago in the yugo, in the kunjas of Vrindavan. Jaya Radha Mara Kunja Bihari. That's the theme song of ISKCON. That's everything. That's the Avideya, that's the sadhana, and that's the sadhya. The practice is worship Radha Krishna Yuga and the kunjas of Vrindavan, and the goal is to attain Radha Krishna Yuga and the kunjas of Vrindavan in your siddhis through as a gopi or sakhi, depending on your orientation of bhav and outlook. This is Gaudiya Vaisnava, it's Nimbark Vaisnava, and it's Vallabha Sampradaya and Hidari Vamsa. Everyone has the idea of Radha Krishna Yuga Upasana. There's a little tweaking here and there, but the sadhya is Radha Krishna Seva. Us. We're one. No fight. You worship Radha Vallabha, I worship Radha Govinda. You worship Radha Vankiyari. That's how, okay, no problem. So I want to read these five causes that prevent the effects of bhakti from happening. And so when we hear these, we have to examine, have some introspection, and see what it applies to me. That's okay. We're okay. I'm just going to move some of these things. Okay, I'm okay. You stay there. That's okay. Jiva Goswami Pad raised a doubt. He said that the bhakti has so much power and potency. Why don't we immediately experience results from doing bhakti? He said the results of bhakti are obstructed by offenses related to bhakti. And he says in this situation, and he's commenting this 500 years ago, Jiva Goswami said, this is a situation with most contemporary devotees. And this is what he's saying 500 years ago. The problem, 500 years ago, the problem Gaudiya Vaishnava was why the Vaishnavas weren't experiencing the fantastic power and benefits of Bhakti Bhajan is because of offenses. What about now? Which Babaji brings out. If that was said 500 years ago, what could be said of today's sadhakas? Good luck. All the best, as everyone says nowadays. So he says, although Bhakti Bhajan is supremely powerful because it's Krishna's Srupa Shakti, it has all the power of Bhagavan, it can be obstructed or covered by offenses. There are primarily two kinds of offenses, Seva Aparad and Nam Aparad. This is all old stuff for most. A bhakta must be attentive to avoid all such offenses. Unless one is free from offenses, they will not experience the potency of bhakti described in Shastra. He has all kinds of stories. Although a single act of bhakti is sufficient to bestow perfection, offenses block the perfection from coming. And to counteract that, the devotee is told to continually do bhakti. Just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep chanting, keep serving. One may ask the question, how can aparad, offenses, be so powerful that they can obstruct bhakti, which is Krishna's true Shakti? The reason is, the essential characteristic of bhakti is that it gives pleasure to Bhagavan, Krishna Santosh. Anukulyasya sankalpa, particular this word. Well, an offense is just that opposite, it displeases Krishna. If an act of devotion is mixed with an offensive act, then naturally the offense will counteract the full manifestation of bhakti's power. It's like trying to light a fire while pouring water on the fire, on the wood. You're trying to light wood on fire and you're pouring water on at the same time. First, the wood has to be dry. So our heart has to be dry from offenses before bhakti can set it on fire. And then if our heart is dry, then one act of devotion will attain perfection. Now you say you chant Hare Krishna once, purely attain prema. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Must be some problem. The devotee, sincere devotee, should avoid offenses very carefully and execute devotion meticulously to experience the great glories of bhakti. 5 primary effects of aparad. Here's the effect. Aparad is very nice. You get 5 benefits. 5 benefits of aparad, 5 effects. First one is you've got hypocrisy. Second one is you become faithless. Third one is you become absorbed in objects unrelated to bhakti.
Say that again. Would you say it again? Can you repeat the third one?
Yeah, first one is hypocrisy. You become hypocritical. We'll read the description of each one also. I'll just give you a summary first. First one is hypocrite. You become a hypocrite. You become subject to hypocrisy. Second one is you become faithless. Say, this bhakti doesn't work. There's nothing happening. These devotees are not very spiritual. And this temple, you become faithless. Third one is absorbed in objects unrelated to bhakti. Tai Chi, Reiki, pyramids, pendulums, tarot cards, I Ching, skydiving, jumping out of planes with parachutes. Fun, no? You do. Fourth one, slackness in devotion. And fifth one, guess what? Pride. I know I am, I'm a big devotee. You're a big jerk. So let's go on here. Sounds like a good lineup, huh? Anyone can be subject to that. Hypocritical, faithless, absorbed in non-devotional activities, slack in devotion and pride. See it all the time, every time, everywhere, all places. In spite of hearing so many scriptural conclusions, many contemporary sadhakas exhibit hypocrisy when, due to their offenses, they make a show of bhakti towards Krishna and their guru and other devotees while internally being disrespectful. This is very, very common. People are outwardly making a show of bhakti, but actually, the Jai Gurudev, Dandavats, in the heart, the devotees think, this Guru's a jerk, this Guru doesn't know anything. Why is friend? I made a mistake, this, that. They're disrespectful. There's a lot of that going on these days. Now, there's a nice commentary by Dr. Nityananda Babaji. He's a fantastic writer and speaker. So Jiva provides 5 practical criterion to ascertain the presence of aparat. By knowing these 5 effects, one can actually recognize one's factual position by introspection and take proper steps to rectify oneself. Just as sadhana bhakti leads to Krishna prema, offenses result in indifference to bhakti and devotees, and ultimately aversion to bhakti. The practice of sadhana bhakti establishes one firmly on the path, creates humility, wakens taste, and absorbs complete absorption in Bhagavan. Offenses, however, do just the opposite. You lose your steadiness, you become proud, you lose your taste, and you become absorbed in everything but bhakti. The first one is hypocrisy. This means to be dishonest to one's behavior, to act and speak in a manner while inwardly maintaining a hidden motive. Private agenda. A wolf in sheep's clothing. Like Mary had a little lamb, The wolf disguised as a sheep and steal Mary's lambs and steal Mary too. I remember it so much. But the idea of the wolf is a wolf, a dangerous killing animal, and disguising as an innocent vegetarian sheep. So some people disguise themselves as devotees. They have all kinds of ulterior motives to rip off devotees and enjoy life in guise of devotees. That's hypocrisy, big time. Bhagavan does not accept a seva from a hypocrite. Krishna knows everyone's true intention, so it's impossible to cheat Krishna. Bhagavan is worshipped without any difficulty because bhakti is a natural function of every living being. Bhakti means loving service to another person. So in our uncovered state, in our original, go for the wire. In our natural position, unconditional state, we want to love others and serve others. And ultimately we want to love others and want to love Krishna and serve God. So it's not very hard to worship Krishna. Like Prabhupada often said in his classes, is it hard to chant Krishna? Is it hard to take nice prasadam? Is it hard to hear a nice class of philosophy? Is it hard to see a nice play of devotees doing Jalkali Leela or Julan or, whatever, Runikachipu, whatever different Leelas they do, Sunday feast plays. It's fun, it can be fun. Bhakti should be fun. Love makes one happy and joyful and full of fun, and that's what bhakti is all about, loving God and having fun with God and fun with devotees in the context of serving Krishna. So he says, because of our pretentious, hypocritical nature, bhakti seems like it's difficult and we find that we're not attracted to it. It's because we're attracted to sense pleasures. There's a lot of discussion here. I'm kind of like skipping ahead here. It's really, Jiva Goswami analyzed it 1,000 different angles. And if people are humble and simple-hearted, they will be blessed by Krishna because they're not hypocritical. Even if they're lower social status. So he's making a whole point here about people may not be very intelligent or highly placed, like a Sutra class or whatever, but if they have bhakti and simplicity of heart, they'll get the perfection of life. The second one is faithlessness. What is faithlessness? Ashraddha. It means even after one hears about the glories of bhakti and sees how it works with other people, he still has a lack of conviction about the glories due to harboring various kinds of doubts and such as contrary opinions, and his absence of faith. This example is given of Duryodhana in the Mahabharata. Duryodhana invited Krishna for lunch one day, and Krishna was going to go there, and then he went to Vidura's house instead because Duryodhana's an offender to the Pandavas, and Krishna wasn't pleased with him. And then later, Krishna was preaching to Dhritarashtra that he should arrest his son, Duryodhana, put him behind bars. And Duryodhana heard this. He said, Krishna told my father, Dhritarashtra, to arrest me because I'm a demon. So I'm going to arrest Krishna. So when Krishna was walking in the assembly, it's in Mahabharata, Duryodhana got all the servants and they're going to tie up Krishna, arrest him. So Krishna in prison. So Krishna manifested his Vyata Rupa, universal form, and just broke all the ropes and everything. They all went running, screaming, crying. But even after Duryodhana saw Krishna's Vyata Rupa, he didn't believe he was God. He's just a magic show. He just did Jadu. He did Jadawala. He did some magic. So this is faithlessness. Even you see, Krishna shows Vyata Rupa, like oftentimes one Gaudiya sannyasi told me, we have such faithlessness that if Krishna comes before us and say, you've been praying for my darshan, Krishna, please give me a darshan, and I come before you and say, here I am, see my flute, listen, oh, it's nice. Are you really Krishna? Yeah, I'm really Krishna. Let me see. I don't know, I think you're just some actor, your skin has blue paint on it. Let me get some isopropyl alcohol. Let me get some hydrogen peroxide and rub it on your skin and see the color comes off. Oh, it's still blue. Well, you jerk, I'm Krishna, what do you get it? Yeah, you're doubting Thomas. So, we're so faithless. Even Krishna comes before us, we'll say, you're an actor, because actors paint their skin blue and they look like Krishna and all that stuff. Even she has lady actors dressed as Krishna. It's funny. They're all blue. They look pretty good, actually. Blue, good paint job. The faithlessness. So even after seeing the glories of Krishna, Duryodhana thought he's just a magic show. Good magician. So why people can't have faith in bhakti even after hearing about its glories? Because some offenses in this life are prior lives to you. You can't get away. You can't, like, oh, I made this offense, nobody saw me. No, there's a record, everything's kept in a record. So sometimes you're suffering in this life because of offenses in last life. One time Prabhupada was asked, he said, we had this guy in LA Temple, his name is Bhakta Ran. I'm changing his name to protect the innocent. When Bhakta Ran, he was there at LA Temple for 35 years. He came to every Sunday feast. He knew every sannyasi, every guru. He saw Prabhupada 100 times. And then all morning walks. Bhakta Ran, just Bhakta Ran. He's a great guy. He preached to me at Sunday feast, and his preaching was so good I joined the temple. But he never joined. He came to Kumbh Mela. I saw him come to Mela in 1989. It was a big Kumbh Mela. And I was there 1 month in Kumbh Mela, all about. And I said, Ron. And he had long hair like he had back in 74 when I saw him. It was 89. I said, are you still not? Yeah, still go to Sunday feast. I said, when are you going to do this shit? No, not yet. No, not ready. So they asked Prabhupada. They said, Prabhupada, what about this Bhakta Ran? He's been coming to town since 1969. Now it's 1989. 99, whatever. They said Yamaraj is punishing him for some offenses in last life. Yamaraj is punishing him by not letting him become a devotee in this life. So it can be that bad. You can have such faithlessness, or be such an aparati to Krishna, they may punish you for one life. So watch out. Be serious. Don't be foolish, It's the Razor says, Bhakti can give you everything instantaneously or finish you also. The worst thing is offenses. All throughout the Bhagavatam, offenses. Offenses from last life. This is often discussed with Jiva Goswami. We're suffering. We're doing everything right. What am I doing wrong? Doing everything right. I took Prabhupada initiation. I'm not making offenses. I'm a good guy. See, look, I'm nice. I'm a nice guy. But still, you're not getting the fruit of bhakti, because Krishna's not giving. Because he's still holding you culpable for offense from last life. It's not an easy journey. We're trying to attain the highest possible spiritual perfection, So it's not going to come easy. This is 3. 3 is absorption in objects unrelated to bhakti. These will destroy one's determination to serve Krishna. It's nishtha. And the example is given of Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj was a great king and a Vaishnava. He renounced his kingdom at the age of 24 years old. He became a king when he was 16. And 8 years later, he renounced his kingdom, his wealth, and queens and everything. Went to the forest to do bhajan. He did bhajan, and then a deer was chased by a lion, jumped across the river. She was a pregnant deer, and she dropped her baby in the river, and she ran away, and the lion didn't get anything to eat, and he ran away. But this Bharat Maharaj saved the deer and took care of the deer. That's okay. But he attained the level of rati. He had on the threshold of rati, a bhava for Krishna. But because rati means affection directed towards Krishna, but he made an offense. He made an offense because he became, Bharat is cited by Gaudiya Swami, he directed his affection away from Bhagavan towards a deer. It's okay to take care of a deer, but he put too much affection here, and he stopped showing his affection to Bhagavan. And that's an offense to Bhagavan. And because of that offense, he had to take another birth. He had to take 2 more births. One more birth as a deer, and then one more birth as a Brahmin, Jad Bharat. In both those births, he has remembrance of his last life. So he became totally absorbed in the deer, thought of the deer, and gradually neglected his Krishna puja and meditation. The mind can only be fixed on one thing. It cannot be attached to the world and Bhagavan at the same time. Let's say I made a post, I didn't make it, it's just the devotees in Delhi did. They said it's body, Krishna first, body second. There's a little thing, just said Krishna first, body second. And somebody made a comment, some initiated devotee. He said, no, both equal. And I made a comment on his comment. I said, read Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 2, and you'll understand the point. It's both equal. He said, if you don't do both equally, you don't have equal, take care of yourself and Krishna equally, then you become neurotic and become crazy. Like this person made a comment, I guess. It missed the point. Where are the gopis thinking about themselves? They don't. Pure devotees, the Kinshan, this Kinshan, they have any thought for themselves, and Krishna takes care of them. Krishna brings them milk, Krishna massages them, Krishna does the Pichri Puja for them, Krishna does everything for them. Because they do everything for Krishna, they give in everything to Krishna, so Krishna returns their love. Yaya tamam prapadyante. As you love Krishna, he loves you fully in return. You don't have to give a little love for Krishna, a little love for me, a little attention for Krishna, a little forget. All attention for Krishna, and you'll win. This is the example of all the greatest devotees. This is the top of philosophy also. Okay, that's it. Watch out for absorption, things unrelated to Krishna. The devotee loses his interest in bhakti, becomes attracted to material objects, relations, friends, relatives, power, position. Then it's for sure it's now come of some present offense or past offense or both. That's the real pincher. Last life offenses. That's really. I hope I don't have to sound like getting from that one. You think you're doing everything right, but it's the ghost of the past, ghost of Krishna's past. Past ghosts are haunted by our past karma. Karma exists there. Offense is part of our karma. Aparad, anartha is part of our karma. Prabdha karma. The idea that bhakti is exclusively concerned with intensity of loving feeling, and ultimately it is this loving feeling alone that captivates Bhagavan and brings him under the devotee's control. The fourth and fifth ones. The fourth is slackening devotion. kicking back. Oh, taking it easy. I'm initiated now. I can relax. You know? Now we discuss the fourth primary effect of aparad, slackening of bhakti. Because when we become slack in bhakti. Well, if you become slack in devotional practices, you become increasingly interested in things related to your own body and mind and other living beings and natural phenomena. Those who are exclusively intent on bhakti are disinterested in any type of material happiness and distress. It is seen in many sadhakas who are very enthusiastic about bhakti when they start. Beginner's enthusiasm, right? Utsahamai, it says in Madhurya Kanamani. And then they make steady progress. After some time, their enthusiasm slackens. Slow down. Why? If you have bhakti, you're always enthusiastic. The reason for this is that they were good, nicely engaged. They started thinking they were better than other devotees, superior to others, including their own seniors. And they started finding faults in other devotees. Watch out. Watch out. They started finding fault in other devotees, including their seniors. Instead of absorbing their minds in service, they absorb their minds in others' problems. They're not following the American slogan that says, mind your own business. Mind your own business, Jack. That's full American way to say it. So your business is bhakti. That's our life. Business means your life. Or what maintains you, what keeps you alive is your business, which is bhakti. So, like Prabhupada, like one time they asked Jaya Swami, how do you stay out of Maya? He said, I'm so busy doing Krishna service, I don't have time for Maya. Jaya said, I'm so busy doing seva, I don't have time for Maya. Oh, so all of a sudden say, well, we're the opposite. We have very little seva, we have so much time for Maya. So Jaya said, I'm too busy, I don't have time for Maya. They asked us, what's your secret? How do you avoid Maya? He said, I just stay busy serving Krishna. He answers so many letters every day, and his life is so busy. So that's good. Busy for Krishna. It's nice. Nishta. Indeed, that's right. He's seen it all. Indeed, such fault finding becomes a major pastime. Such fault finding becomes a major pastime in the name of sadhu sangha. Because Sajjan was in ISKCON for 15 years, and he knows the whole scene. That's great. Fault finding becomes a major pastime in the name of sadhu sangha. When such weak-minded sadhakas meet, they relish speaking about the deficiencies of others instead of engaging in Hari Katha. Big time. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says you should stay alone and do bhajan. My Param Guru also said the same thing. And my Guru always said, don't mix up with anybody, stay alone and do bhajan. You want to see anybody, come see me. Because I was telling him, I said, this devotee was saying this and that. I was showing this devotee, he said this and that, and I didn't agree with him. He said, why you go to those devotees? He got me, I told you to stay alone. I stay alone, they came to my ashram. They come to me, they visit me and say all this nonsense. Okay, well anyway, don't let them stay long. I'm not going anywhere. Like Prabhupada used to say, if you have a cow in your barn, you don't buy milk in the market. Got it? If you have a cow in your barn, if you have a cow in your garage, in your barn, Goshaw, if you have a cow in your barn, you don't buy milk in the market, right? You feed the cow and go get milk. So if you have a guru that has everything you need, you don't have to go anywhere for sadhu sangha. That's the idea. one-stop shop. Like a big mall. You go to a big mall and get everything. Right? Socks, shoes, food, everything. So Guru should have, should everything in one big bazaar. Big Guru. That's how it was traditionally. So that's a good point. Do bhajan alone. That's the biggest problem in Kali Yuga is aparad. So the effect of offense, one loses enthusiasm for bhakti. This is slackness is caused by this offenses, and you slowly develop greater interest in taking care of your body, your family, and your material possessions. And you find little or no time for bhakti. Of course, there's nothing wrong in taking care of matters if one's aim is bhakti, since all of them can be used in the service of bhakti. Taking care of your body, taking care of your family, taking care of your business. It's not wrong, but if it takes you away from bhakti, it's wrong. Well, it's part of your bhakti. I'm doing my business because I have to live. If I do my business, I don't have any money. I can't do my bhakti because I don't have any place to live and no food. So it's all related. If it replaces bhakti, then he says there's a very thin line between taking care of these things for the sake of bhakti and taking care of them independently due to intensified material identification. Some devotees will even speak of the relevance of such matters in bhakti, and they'll spend all their time and energy caring only for their body and relatives while neglecting their direct engagement in bhakti. Offenses harden the heart and pervert the intelligence. That's a nice sentence. Really nice. Offenses make the heart and intelligence be party to buddhi. Upside down brain. You don't think, you start thinking crazy. Pervert the intelligence. And under the influence of this, one becomes slack and they use their intelligence to rationalize their behavior. They even go so far as to validate their behavior with scriptural evidence. Gradually they fall away from bhakti. The conclusion is that offenses committed in knowledge causes a severe reaction. There's no greater danger to one's progress than knowingly committing offense. And the last fifth result of offenses in bhakti is pride. The effect of making aparadhas in bhakti is you become proud. Become proud of your devotional achievements, which in this pride gives rise to further offenses. There's this endless downward spiral. When one is doing bhakti, it should create a feeling of humility. Why? Because no one can honestly claim to own anything to be proud of. Our true identity as a jiva is we're atomically small. We can't do anything independent of the will and blessings of Krishna, which gives the Atman the ability to do anything. Everything is happening around us is under constant change. So how can we be proud of everything we receive, which is borrowed from Krishna? Pride leads to further offenses. A proud person will insult and criticize others. The proud mentality is so destructive that it continues into many future lifetimes. Well, they say in English, pride precedes a fall. And he talks about if one is free from offenses, one can chant the holy name at death. If one is an offender during his life, he may be a secret offender. He or she knows that they're offenders, but they do mental offenses all the time. And that's displeasing to Krishna. Although no one can catch them, no one really knows. but they're carrying an offensive mentality throughout their whole life of bhakti. So at the end of life, it'd be impossible for them to chant Hare Krishna, because one can only chant Hare Krishna at the end of life if he's been offenseless his whole life. So Jiva Goswami cites the example of a Jamil. So it doesn't mean even if you're a sinner, even if you're sinned your whole life, you may still be able to chant Krishna's name at death. And if you chant Krishna's name at death, you'll be free from all your sins, you'll go to Vaikuntha. That's the power of one-time chanting in a helpless situation, without offense. So Jiva Goswami cites the example of Jamil. The Jamil was the most sinful person to every kind of crazy sin, but he didn't commit offenses. Same with Jagai and Madai. Jagai and Madai were doing all kinds of sins and rapes and murders and everything, but they didn't rape or murder any Vaishnavas. Maybe shocked us or something. But it says Jagai and Madai committed more sins than he can write down the name of. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, he describes that the secretaries of Yamaraj, the scribes, they went to Yamaraj and complained. He said, our hands are falling off. Jagai and Madai are making so many sins, our hands are falling off. We can't keep record of all the sins and crimes we're committing. It's in Chaitanya Bhagavat. But Yamaraj said, yeah, but Nitai just liberated them. They just chanted Hare Krishna, they got liberated by Nitai Kripa. So how is it possible? So that's the power of Nitai Kripa and the holy name. So Jagai and Madai committed every possible sin, but they said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, they never offended a Vaishnava. So it's not a big deal. I follow the Four Noble Principles. I don't commit any sins. But you're an offender. It's much better to be sinful. Don't offend. That's so many millions of verses describing the bad effect of offenses. So that's the wrap up there. There's things that keep us from getting the full effect of bhakti. Don't be proud, don't be deceitful, don't be hypocritical, don't be puffed up, don't be lazy in bhakti. Be a good devotee, it'll be no problem. Okay, any questions? Okay, yeah.
What to do when I recognize all these 5 beautiful effects and it looks like a snowball, because when I'm already hypocrisy and pride and tasteless, then it's became only very easy, much more offenses and mind getting critical, and then you think, oh, I'm so critical, better I will leave Vrindavan and at least don't offend Vaishnavas and in other games. So my question is, when it's already happened and you experience such things from this life, past life, or wherever, what to do?
Do or die, it's all for Rai. Rai is Radharani. Kishori Rai. That's what Jiva Goswami says. We just keep going. Don't leave Vrindavan. You know, you read Vrindavan Mahimamrita, which is a popular book in Harivansh, because they say he wrote it or something like that. Well, it's a great book, Vrindavan Mahimamrita, and Premananda, Harivansh Premananda Baba, great guru there. He gives many classes from Vrindavan Mahimamrita. I've read and given many classes also. I read from it. And there he says, I may commit millions of sins, I may be an operati, but I won't leave Vrindavan, no matter what. Vrindatavi Mata. Vrindatavi Mata. Oh, Mother Vrindavan, don't kick me out, take care of me. Like a mother forgives all her offenses, please forgive me. Oh, Yamuna Devi, oh, Giraj, oh, Brajaraj, oh, Sadhu Vaishnavas, Sannyasi Babas. And you just keep going on. Just cultivate your heart. Don't worry about your karma and aparats, all that. Stay in Vrindavan is the best place. Everything will come good in Vrindavan. Just do what you have to do. Your good things, and all the bad things will go away. Don't worry. Don't be haunted. Don't worry about what about my last life. Forget about last life. Just work on this life. If you attain perfection in this body, you'll see Krishna. That body's already gone. You missed a chance last life. So it doesn't we missed? We didn't see Krishna last life. This life we have to see Krishna. We have to see Radha Krishna. That's all. That's the purpose of living in Vrindavan. That's the purpose of doing bhajan. And that's all we want to do. And we don't think anything else. Oh, I may be offensive, I may be puffed up, I may be fault finding, I may be lazy some days or for months on end. Anyway, I won't give up bhakti. Like in Ramayana it says, Ramchandra says, and Krishna says also somewhere, if some bhakta stands up and says, hey Bhagavan, hey Ram, hey Narayan, from this day forward, I know I'm very fallen bad. I fully surrender you. Please help me. Please, I fully surrender. You just do that once, Ramchandra adopts you, takes you under his wing, and saves you from birth and death, gives you perfection. So Sharanagati is the main thing. Every day we have to surrender. Just keep saying, I'm not this, I'm not all this bad stuff. I'm actually pure and beautiful and full of love and kindness and compassion. Like Radharani. I'm Radharani Sadasi, so I have all the qualities of Radharani. Little bit. Little atomic part. Atoms of Radharani's qualities. You're a lucky soul. You're a fortunate person. Don't be too hard on yourself. You have a very intelligent, analytical brain, it sounds like. But don't, we always say heart above brain. Brain is up here, but heart is up above here. Live from the heart, rule from the heart, see from the heart. And that'll be good. It's okay. Okay. What else now? No, that's not. Yeah, go ahead. Right.
Gurudev, as I was reading Radha Sudhanidhi and Radha Sudhanidhi book, in that there are many services Manjari performs to Radharani. So as we are meditating on that, we are not able to bring in Guru Manjari there. Means that is like sometimes we walk with Radharani and we scold Krishna, why are you touching Radharani, go far away, all that we do with Radharani, but how to bring in Guru Manjari there?
When you get to the pranaya, you'll understand. Right?
Right.
Just now coming. Just now coming. Anyway, the question is asked, because it's recording. Devotees meditating on Krishna, Radha Krishna, Astakaya Lila, and doing seva there as being guided by Radha Sudhanidhi, Vilakutsmanjari, and other Utkali Kavalari and other scriptures describing Radha Krishna's pastimes and seva. But I'm thinking I'm doing this seva. I mentally conceived spiritual form, Siddhaya, and serving Radharani like this. But how do we bring Guru there? Well, you just, like when you see descriptions and go into the other places, because you're doing one seva, but who's doing all the other sevas? Well, point your Guru there. Like a lot of times you go into the Amrita, it describes Rupa Manjari is doing something, Tulsi Manjari is doing something. So you can substitute Rupa Manjari for your Guru Manjari, and you substitute Tulsi for yourself. So, because that's the whole idea of bhajan. Because when you read Sankalpa Kalpajruma of Vishnu Chakravarti, he's doing Odhavali Manjari. He's doing the same services that are done by Raghunath Das, Tulsi Manjari, and Vilakuta Manjari. Because everyone can do all the sevas, there's no problem. There's no shortage of Radharanis, no shortage of sevas. So just how you bring Guru there? Bring him there. You bring there by meditation, by heart. I'm doing this, what's my guru doing? Like my guru's save is tumble, okay? And my save is chamar. So I'm meditating, Radharani and Krishna had rasa dance, now they're resting in a flower bed, and I'm fanning Radharani. I'm standing on the side of Radharani, fanning Radha and Krishna together. Then my Guru Day comes in, and I say, oh, Guru Day. And he has a big tray of tambo, big bugs and tambo. And so he goes to Radharani, and I see him put his foot in her hand, and Radharani puts it in Krishna's mouth. And so I'm fanning, I'm watching, oh, there's Guru Day, oh, wow, what's that? And Radharani's looking at it, and it goes like that. So it makes a very dynamic meditation when you're serving alongside with your Guru Sakhi.
Yeah,
That's very nice. Nice question. I'm glad that you're thinking like that, reading like that. That's proper bhajan. Proper bhajan. Yeah.
When I read literature like Radha Kunda or Ashtakali Lila, when I read it first time, I feel it's fresh and I feel some emotions. But after many time reading, I feel it become like old, because I receive it by my mind. But how to it become like ever fresh? How to receive it by heart, not by mind, but by heart.
And always asking a question, he's reading Vilakuswanjali description of Sevas to Radharani. And in the beginning, when he first contacts that and meditates on those Sevas in his own through, he feels that he's in touch with the feelings of Radharani and Manjaris and Krishna. But as he repeatedly reads over the same leelas and meditates on them, he loses, the feeling diminishes, he loses a sense of feelings. It becomes somewhat boring. Is that what you're saying? Loses a taste for that?
Yes, after I read many times, it become like old.
Yeah, because the thing is that along with meditating on Leela, we have to simultaneously already have attained a very pure mental. It's called antakarana. Means our mental buddhi and mind must be very pure, or we're continually chanting lots of mala. Just doing smarana all the time without mala, backing of mala, and the purification of Krishna's name, it'll become mental and not heartly. Because chanting cleans the heart. Chaito dharma marja means the heart becomes cleansed. So the heart has to be continually cleansed to experience the effect of anurag. Anurag is anurag abhas. Anurag means seeing Krishna and seeing the Leelas in ever fresh and new ways. And this is a state of prema, anurag. Snehaman pranaya rag, anurag bhavamabha. So we're not in love of prema. So it's an abhas, it's a shadow, a reflection, a semblance of anurag. But that anurag will experience, will read the same old Leelas. I read the same old Leelas for 35 years, same books for 35 years. Well, finish over and over. And it's fresh, because I'm always refreshing my consciousness, my heart, by chanting Nam. Sometimes people get into Leela Swara and they neglect the name. We should chant more and more name, because actually the whole experience is a heart experience, not a mind experience. So the heart is pure by chanting Nam. Then the experience of meditating on Leelas, which are all happening on the platform of Bhav and heart, will be newer and fresher every time. That's what anurag means. So I don't know what your situation is with name, that's your personal matter. But this is a tattva behind the experience. Lack of having an experience of anurag is due to the impurity of the chitta, of the consciousness, from insufficient nam bhajan. So you may consider chanting more holy name. It's always good. Okay, thank you for that question. Okay. Another question? So we have class next week, 4 to 6. It used to be 4 to 6. We changed it 2 to 4, and 3 to 5. But pretty soon he's 68. 8 to 10. It's nice at night. That's the thing about Vrindavan. It's how, if you sleep outside, it's nice. If you're in the city, it's all air conditioned, so you sleep outside, you get hot air. But here, I sleep outside here at night. It was 22 last night. Nice. I had two blankets. Okay, question? Valentina? Yashwini, Yashaswini. Question?
I have one question, maybe it's silly, but like when I read Radha and Krishna pastimes, they often they are compared with like elephants, like intoxicated elephants, something like that. But for me, it's somehow difficult to imagine like Krishna or Radharani with elephants. I don't know. I can't relate with that.
Krishna like mad elephant. And it's like she cannot accept this analogy, cannot imagine this. What does it mean, this analogy?
maybe elephants have some other characteristics that I have in my mind.
The question is asked that in the Shastras, it describes that when Radha and Krishna are meeting intimately together in the romantic times, that they behave like two elephants. So we don't have much experience of elephants, but elephants are very romantic apparently amongst the beasts. The male elephant walks to the female elephant, rests its trunk on her back, and like a man and woman holding hands walking. So they're very romantic, and they go in the water together. He sprays water on his girlfriend, and they're very romantic. Actually, we think of elephants on gross character, but they're not. They're actually a symbol of romantic prowess. It's a ras. It's one of there's five. There's Madhurya ras, but there's secondary rasas like fear, bhayam, and vira. Vira means virility, means heroism, courage. So when you see descriptions of Yoga Pit, it describes in the kunjas, and the walls of the inside the kunjas. On the inside of the kunjas, there's paintings of Krishna Radharani's erotic pastimes inside the kunj to incite Radha and Krishna's romantic feelings. You know, there are pictures of themselves on the walls, engaged in various intimacies of loving exchange. And the outside walls of the kunjas, there's like a veranda on the kunjas, and there's paintings of Krishna killing demons. Krishna killing Risasura, this one, that one, Bakasura, Agasura. And so somebody says, what are these killing demons? What does Krishna's killing demons have to do with Krishna's romantic love sports with Radharani in the Kunja? What's this? This doesn't make sense. No, it makes all sense, because this is showing Krishna's virility, Krishna's courage. Because every girl likes to have a strong boyfriend. If they have a 98-pound weakling for a boyfriend, The boyfriend's a big, strong guy. Oh, they walk down the street, and my boyfriend, because here, my hero. You should be a Krishna. This is hero Bob. So when the gopis, they walk out, look at Krishna. He knocked out that guy. He put his fist in his mouth, Casey's mouth, put his fist in, boom. Now, wow, he's really strong. We're going to be with him tonight. Wow, it's going to be fun. He's really strong. So it inspires the Vira Ras. Vira, V-I-R-A, like because English word virility means power. Vira Ras is a supporting Ras that increases the Madhurya, increases the amorous loving attraction of Radha and Krishna. So they see, wow, we're going to meet this Krishna in this kunja. Wow, he's really strong, We're going to have fun. It's, love for sports. So the same way when they describe it, Radha and Krishna, when they meet, they're like, they fight each other like two mad elephants. So it's hard to imagine, I agree. We just accept that they're powerful, romantic hero and heroine. We're servants of them. We're busy fattening them and giving them drinks and rubbing their feet. We're busy doing seva. We don't know what they're doing so much. We're busy doing seva. Oh, it's inverter, maybe.
It's electricity jumping, probably.
Huh?
When electricity jumping.
Yeah, I think it's inverter.
Inverter.
See, what's going on? See, get up. Turn down the volume or something. Let's play around a little stuff.
If the disciple has equal affection to his Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru, and maybe develops even bigger affection to Shiksha Guru, and this maybe seem kind of duplicity or something.
What's the question?
If,
Duplicity?
if a disciple has affection towards Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru in almost the same manner, equally, sometimes even if...
That's not a question.
And if affection to Diksha Guru, but to Shiksha Guru more stronger affection, is it duplicity or not?
That's right. That's right. Thank you. The way he's asking a question, they have a Shiksha Guru and Diksha Guru. If they have more affection or love or attachment to Shiksha Guru, is that deceitful or is that disloyal? No, because the problem you're making here is you're making a distinction. Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru is, the Guru is Krishna. The Guru means Krishna, Krishna means Guru. Shiksha Guru is Krishna, Diksha Guru is Krishna. So you love Krishna, it's like a coin. Coin has heads and tails. If you love the heads, automatically come the tails. I mean, you can't, it's not deceitful. It's one entity. It's not, there's deceit if there's two entities. You're loyal to one and disloyal to another. That's deceit. But there's not two entities here. Shiksha Diksha Guru is one entity. It's Krishna. Krishna's Srupa is Diksha Guru. Krishna's Srupa is Shiksha Guru. So you love one, love more. It's all the same. In Gaudiya Sampradaya, we have discussion from Jaya Goswami how to select a Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru should be approved by the Diksha Guru. First of all, he must have the approval. And he should amplify and clarify and support the teachings of the Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru is primary. Affection may be more for Shiksha Guru, but the role, the significance and supremacy, Diksha Guru overrules the Shiksha Guru. This teaching of Bhakti Sundara, Jiva Goswami.
Because maybe when we are on the lower level of spiritual practice, and that the mind mind can create things that maybe I want to follow in the spiritual world, my Shiksha Guru, give his parampara and like devote my life, and not with the Diksha I got, and maybe I don't want like go with this group to there.
Well, that's a complicated thing you got cooking up there. They say in America, don't change horses in midstream. Don't change horses in midstream. You're crossing a river on one horse, and you say, oh, I'm going to get on this other horse next to it. You know, your horse is too slow, and there's another horse next to it. So when in the process of getting off one horse, you may fail to get on another horse and fall off the one you're on, and you're in the river and no horse to go down the stream. So don't change horses in midstream. So, the fact of taking another guru, that's something that the individual has to decide for themselves. There's some facility for doing that, but it's not recommended. But there's some facility to take another guru. Satsang Bhakti Sandarbha in 207. You can accept another guru if you're not satisfied with the guru. Well, that's a serious consideration. Generally, you don't take another Diksha guru. Diksha means, Diksha guru is the guru who gives you Gopal mantra and Kam Gayatri in Gaudiya Sampradaya. Main thing is just follow two gurus and see what Krishna arranges. Krishna is the ultimate controller, because Krishna is the controller of the devotee's life. He controls it most of the way that's necessary for a devotee. When Krishna is taking charge, everything is adjusted perfectly. So just sit back, be patient, and let Krishna make adjustments according to the needs you have. You have a question? Okay. You have a chair? You have a chair? There's chairs. There's chairs? Veranda, there's chairs. Bring some chairs for these people. Save them. Some other questions? Okay. Yeah.
In Ujjwalani Lamani, there is the definition given of Madanakya Mahabhav. And I was just wondering if you could explain maybe what is it actually, this definition, what is exactly this Svasamvedya Dasha Prakashita and Yavanashrai Vritti? I don't know if you have it in mind.
I have to look at that section again. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't answer the question. It's a nice question, but I have to look at it, I can't. I mean, Madanakya Mahabhav, this is Radharani's speciality. Madanakya Mahabhav, because there's Ruda Bhav and Mohan Bhav and Madan Bhav and Madanakya Mohan Bhav. So it's very complicated. One has 6 characteristics of it. One is that you attribute human feelings to unhuman things. You look at the mountains. So, oh, birds, you're crying. Are you unhappy? Are you separated from your lover like we're separated from Krishna? So you're crying for your lover. So birds are just crying because they're crying because they sing like crying. Osprey is called. They whine when they're singing. It sounds like whining. So the gopis will say, "Oh, you're crying. You birds, you're singing. You're whining. Are you feeling pain of separation from Krishna like us?" You know, so they're seeing like the river. Yamuna is going in whirlpools. Oh, Yamuna, you're going in whirlpools. Are your mind is disturbed because Krishna's gone to another gopi? So now your mind is disturbed like our mind is going in whirlpools. So they project human feelings on insentient objects, or on water, on trees, on clouds, on mountains. That's one symptom. And one symptom of Mahanidhi is feel a minute away from Krishna be like a yuga. Another symptom is when you're with Krishna, you may be with him a whole yuga night dancing, but it seems like one minute. So all these are extraordinary characteristics and symptoms of Mahanidhi. I read those things, but it doesn't stick with me because it's so far high. And we're a servant. I'm a servant of that Mahanidhi Bhavati Radharani. I'm trying to serve her, and because I'm one with her bhav, whatever she's feeling, I'll feel. That's the manjari's perfection. Bhav Taratmya, they're one with the Radha's Mahabhav, is their Mahabhav. But all the details of that, I can't answer clearly. Question? Yeah, well, no, anybody else? These two ask. You have a question? Yeah.
Do you know this Astakam that is talking about Yavat? Where one of the manjaris is saying like, I would rather stay in Yavat when all go to take care or see the pastimes in Radha Kunda. I saw that it was written in the Yavat, but it wasn't complete, but I couldn't find more about it.
What did she say? I couldn't hear very well.
Yes. When I was in Yavat, I had the fortune to go to Yavat,
Yeah.
and there was an Astakam written on the walls, but it was incomplete. And it was talking about one manjari saying like, I'd rather stay in Yavat, taking care of Yatila, that she doesn't get suspicious, while I'll go to Radha Kunda and witness the pastimes. Do you know something about this Astakam? I couldn't find more.
That's a nice thing. Is that a finished Astakam?
It was just the 3 first verses written on the wall, and I couldn't find more.
Maybe the Saki was right, I was read off the Radha Kunda. The devotees ask you a question about Yavat Gram, where Radharani lives with her so-called husband Abhimanyu, and his brother Dharmata, and Radharani's sister Ananga Manjari, and Jatiya, Kutiya, mother and sister-in-law of Radharani. So, said there, one Manjari wants to stay in Yavagram, keeping Jatiya busy and keeping Jatiya preoccupied, so Radharani can go right off to Radha and meet with Krishna. So, you want to be that Manjari? You want to be that saving? What are you saying?
I just was wondering to find out more about this Astakam.
Well, I don't know more. I don't know about that Astakam. It's not an Astakam, it's a tree. The tree padakam. Three. Astakam, it's tree pod, it's three verses. Chaikam or something. Astakam, Chaik. I don't know about that. My service is Radha, I don't say any of it. My Sakhi's Kunj is in Radha, and I have service in Vishaka Kunj. But if Radharani asks me to stay in Yavat, I'll stay in Yavat. Sometimes Subal stays in Yavat. Subal ways, right? Subal dresses Radharani dresses Subal, and she goes out all day in Radha and everywhere. And so for 8 hours, Subal is pretending to be Radharani Yavat Gram. So sometimes the cowboy stays all day with Mother Jatila. That'd be quite austerity. Spend a day with, all expenses paid, 1 day with Jatila. Oh, no thanks. So if the cowboys do it, say maybe Sakya Manjris also do it. I never read, I never heard. That hasn't been presented by our Goswamis as an option for attainment. We haven't been presented with that as an option of attainment of seva, to stay in Yemen while Radharani goes to Radha Kunda. Have you read that? No one stays there. Everyone leave. That's all the idea. They leave Jatila there and they run away, do Surya Puja, quote unquote Surya Puja. Nice. You made a nice, funny thing for us. Thank you. I didn't record it. I'll do that. Okay. I didn't record it. It's not there. Thank you. That's a cool question. I go with some Hindi people ask the Pujari, where's the rest of the house to go? I said, the whole thing is very funny. When I first went to Java in 1977, and there's a temple of Yava Bihari, Radhakrishna, Brass, Asiddhata Murtis. On the side, I don't know where they are now, I've been there 20 years. But on the side, there's Darshan Mandap, and then there's the altar where deities are. On the side, there's like a little hall. There was two wooden doors there. I opened the door, there was these straw murtis. There's one of Jatila, Abhimanyu, and Kutila. And they're all beat up, had black cloth face, and they're all beat up. They hadn't changed. They were made of straw, and the straw was coming out just like straw, like hay straw from a goshala, busa, like dry grass straw. When they sewed cloth on, they had faces, their arms, and one arm was broken off, one eye, and they were like dolls, but they were big size. I said, I heard there's murtis, there's Jatila and Kutila and Abhimanyu. Where are they? And he showed, they're all cobwebs and dust and dirt. I said, oh my God. So I heard it's changed now. It's all upgraded. But it was like, it was totally like, the collected, like, no one cared about it. They hadn't had new cloth in 20, 30 years. So it was like, really? Like, we don't care about them. It's Jatila's house and Abhimanyu's house. I just see Radha Krishna Murtis like this now. Nice house, nice poshak, nice temple. They're neglected out. I like the old way. The old way was actually the real way. That's how Brijvasis really felt. Now they got into making a show and scoring points and getting on Facebook and stuff. The old way was as Brijvasis as it is, how the Brijvasis really thought and felt about things. Now it's all polished and commercialized. The new Braj. Any more questions? We're starting to circle again. Okay, this lady.
There are a book, Saints of Raj and Saints of Bengal, and this is my very favorite book, but they were published in 1950, like 70 years ago. So my question maybe, you can share with us some stories of sweet Vaishnavas, Saints of Raj, which you have met. Please.
I have a website, mahanidhiswami.com, an audio folder. And one of them says Braj Sadhus, Braj Sadhu Diary. You go there, you can see I started reading from a diary I kept from some years. I kept a diary of sadhus I met. And you get, the first one's about Vinod Baba. Vinod Baba, I met in 2005. And Vaishnava came to my ashram in 2006. So those are there, and some other ones. You can hear them there. Mahanidhiswami.com. Then you go to audio. It has 3 lines at the top. Audio books, articles. So look up audio. There's 52 folders. Go down. See Braj Sadhana Diary. Thank you, because I want to record more, but I did that in 2018. I lost my voice, so I'm not recording those kind of things anymore. If I get a proper voice again, I'll record more. Now I'm just giving this Sunday stuff. What to do? Sorry. I'll record more and I'll send them to you. Oh, what was that? I don't know what that was. Nice question. I can tell you tell about your life, and then we'll hear about a saint of Braj. I said you tell about your life, and then we can all hear about a saint of Braj.
Well, now I'm hearing your lecture. So now you all hear about Saint of Raj in this way. Shiran.
You're a saint of Braj also. Okay, what else is new? Anything else? Yeah, sure.
What to do to feel this intense separation to Radha and Krishna?
What to do to feel?
Intense separation. How to feel intense separation for Radha Krishna, right?
Yeah, what to do?
How to feel
How to feel intense separation from Radha
how
Krishna.
to create this feeling of intense separation with Radha Krishna.
Well, you can only feel separated from someone you know. If I ask you to feel separation from someone you don't know, you can't feel it. Is it possible? Is it possible to feel separated from someone you don't know? So you want to feel separated from Radha Krishna, you have to hear unlimitedly about them, about their especially their forms and their pastimes. Name we're always chanting now, that's a separate category, nam-bhajan. But all this feelings and ras and tattva and bhavas is another type of bhajan. Leela bhajan, bhav bhajan. So when you're always reading about the beautiful forms of Radha and Krishna, the beautiful qualities of Radha and Krishna, the beautiful leelas, and here you want to be there, you want to be part of it, you start missing them. You start feeling separation from them. I want to be with them. I want to be with these beautiful people. I want to be with these beautiful leelas. I want to be serving in those leelas. Then the separation increases. This is what it's taught by Raghunath Das Goswami. He's always talking about doing seva and missing that seva, having a brief spurti experience of that seva, a direct vision of that seva, then losing that vision, then feeling separation, intense pain, crying separation. Oh, show me that seva again. So that's a high level. So our level, we have to read. We read that. And Ananda Das Pandit said, we develop the feelings of Raghunath Das by reading his books over and over again. So Raghunath Das, no one feels more separation from Radha Krishna than he does. Or she, you can say she does. Raghunath Das, Tulsi Manjari. And his or her feelings of separation are all over his books, all over Stavali and Vilakha Manjari. So, because Ananda Das Babaji Maharaj, he asked the question, why are we reading these books? We're reading these books so we get the bhav of Raghunath Das. What is the bhav? The bhav is separation, vipralamba bhav, viraha bhav, separation mood is dripping from these books. So read them over and over again. So it becomes contagious, it wears off on us. We associate with someone that's madly feeling madness and pain of separation. That pain and madness is going to come into you automatically. That's why Sangha, that's what Sangha means, by association. Sangha, Song means my body with their body. My mental body, my heart body, my physical body. My physical body is, I live in Radha Kunda with Raghunath Das. My mental body, I live in his books. My heart body, I live with his feelings. Sangha, with my anga, with my body. Anga means manasanga, heart, chitanga, heart anga, deyanga, our body, mind, heart, associated with Rupa Goswami's body, mind, and heart. Then we get what he has, what is in his body, mind, and heart. His body, mind, and heart are racked and burning with the pain of separation from Radharani and her eternal seva. So we always associate with the body of Raghunath Das by doing parikramā and sitting in front of his samadhi and bhajan kutir and praying to him and reading his books and living in Radha Kunda and taking baths in Radha Kunda and worshiping Radha Kunda, serving Radha Kunda, and then we'll get that separation mood will come automatically by the mercy of Raghunath Das Goswami and Radha Kunda and Radharani. Any questions? Okay, I have a question. Somebody sent me a question. He said, we read some book that Lord Chaitanya is Krishna coming to experience the mood of Radharani, Radharani's Bhav and Kanti. He came with a golden color Kanti of Radharani, and he came to experience the Mahabhav of Radharani, the sweetness of Radharani's love, and happiness she feels by serving Krishna. But is there any record that Lord Chaitanya came to preach Raganuga Bhakti, he came to preach Gopi Bhav? Gopi Bhav means like Sakhi Bhav, like Radharani's Bhav. Is there any record that Lord Chaitanya was preaching Mandri Bhav or Kinkari Bhav, like the Bhav of Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari, and Tulsi Manjari, Rati Manjari? Is there any example that shows that Lord Chaitanya is in Mandri Bhav? Because there's so many examples in Chaitanya Charitamrita where he's in Sakhi Bhav, where he's in Radharani, where he's Krishna experiencing Radha's Bhav. So this was the question that was asked me. So there's two primary places in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Lord Chaitanya is showing the example of Mandri Bhav. And firstly, this idea and Lord Chaitanya also came to experience not only Radharani's Bhav, but Mandri's Bhav. That the idea of that concept comes from Srila Anantadas Babaji Maharaj in the commentaries of his books. He says that. And you can say that because you can draw that conclusion. I'll show the examples of that. But how can he say that? It's because if something is said, there has to be checks and balances. If an acharya says something, there has to be checks and balances. And Lord Chaitanya himself explains in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in Adi Lila chapter 5, verse 97, explains what are the two criterion to accept whether something is, like say, quote unquote, bona fide or proper siddhanta. So it says, Rasa Vasahaya, this is Chaitanya Charitamrita, Untitled Chapter 5, Untitled 5, verse 97. Rasa Vasahaya Yadi, Siddhanta Virod, Saite Napari Prabhu, Mani Hayakrod. Lord Chaitanya says, Mahakrod, Mani Hayakrod. Prabhu, Mahaprabhu would become very angry if he heard something written or spoken by a Gaudiya Vaisnava It was opposite. It was siddhanta virud. It was against the siddhanta. It wasn't proper siddhanta, or it was rasabhas. It was wrong mixture of rasas and overlapping of mellows. So the concept, the idea that Lord Chaitanya was experiencing Manjari Bhav, is that siddhanta virud or is it rasabhas? It's not siddhanta virud, it's not rasabhas. So therefore it can be acceptable. I discussed this point with my teacher and he explained. He said generally this point hasn't been made, this point hasn't been brought out by the six Goswamis. The Lord Chaitanya was directly experiencing or showing the example of Manjari Bhav or Kinkari Bhav. But you can't deny the right and the expertise of Nandas Babaji Maharaj by drawing this conclusion by these two pastimes which we'll cite from Chaitanya Charitamrita, which indicates, which show, easily we concluded, Lord Chaitanya in these particular pastimes is experiencing Manjari Bhav, Kinkari Bhav. And because Lord Chaitanya, it's not against the Siddhanta, because Lord Chaitanya wanted to experience Gopi Bhav, Radharani's Bhav, so Manjari Bhav is also Gopi Bhav. Manjaris are also gopis, are one of the categories of gopis. So Manjari's Gopi Bhav is also, Radharani is also in Gopi Bhav. So two pastimes are in chapter 14 of Antya-lila, chapter 14, verse number 104 to 108. What happens, Lord Chaitanya was in Jagannath Puri, and he saw this Chatak Parvat sand dune. It's like a hillock. Lord Chaitanya started running madly. He said, Giraj, Giraj. He thought it was go around hill. Because Lord Chaitanya was Krishna's separation from Vrindavan. So he saw this hill of sand by Tota Gopinath Mandir. It's near Tota Gopinath in Jagannath Puri. He said, oh, this is Govardhan. So he's running, Krishna, Krishna, Giraj, Giraj, Giraj. He's running madly. Then he collapsed and went unconscious. And gradually, it says, Lord Chaitanya, then all the Vaishnavas, they caught up to Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was fainted in ecstasy of remembering Krishna. And then he came to external consciousness. Lord Chaitanya said, where have you brought me? Where have you taken me? I was at Gaudiya Hill. I was seeing Krishna's pastimes. Now I can't see Krishna. So Lord Chaitanya, he came to half external consciousness, and Srup Damodar was there, and Rai Ramananda and Haridas Thakur, many devotees were with him. They found him lying half unconscious. He says, I was at Gaudiya. They said, what were you doing at Gaudiya? He said, he said, I saw Krishna climbing on Gaudiya Hill. He was playing his flute. He was surrounded by cows. Then hearing the vibration of, this is Lord Chaitanya speaking, hearing Krishna playing his flute, Vedanad Suni Radha Takarani, Sasakigan, Sangakari Sajani. Hearing the vibration, hearing Krishna's Vedanad, the vibration of Krishna's flute, Radharani and all the gopis came to meet Krishna. And they were all very nicely dressed. So Lord Chaitanya is speaking this. He said, I was at Gaudiya. At Gaudiya I saw Radharani, I saw Krishna call all the gopis. So Lord Chaitanya is seeing all Radharani and the gopis and Krishna. So who is Lord Chaitanya? He's supposed to be Krishna Radharani's Bhav. So he said, and then I saw Radha and Krishna enter a cave together. Then the other gopis asked me to go pick flowers to make malas, because after Radha and Krishna come out of the cave, they won't have fresh flower malas. So this point, this reference was cited by Anandadas. And here in this pastime, it shows that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in Sakhi Bhav, Gopi Bhav of a Sakhi Manjari, doing seva to Radha and Krishna like a Sakhi Manjari. So my Gurudev agrees that you can't disagree, because that's the Bhava Vichar of Anandadas Baba, and it's not Siddhanta Virud, it's not Rasabhas. You can very easily draw a conclusion. And so Anandadas drew that conclusion, and it's a great Rasic contribution of his commentary. to highlight the glories of Manjari Bhav. Even Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna's Srupa with Radharani's Bhav and Kanti, even Krishna wants to taste Manjari Bhav. Krishna wants to taste Radharani's Bhav. He also wants to taste the Bhav of Radharani's maidservants and some Manjaris. This is one pastime. The other pastime is in chapter 18. I have a page marker here. I'm getting organized. Okay, right. There we go. Check it out. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in one of three different states of consciousness at all times. He was in three different states of consciousness. Now that we're also in three states of consciousness, right? At all times. There's Jagrata means awake. There's Swapna, which means dreaming. And what's the third one? Susupti. Deep dreaming. Maybe a fourth state, but that's pretty rare. Turiya. So his are different. Three states of consciousness. Internal consciousness, external, and half internal and half external.
So,
As it says. It says Antardasha, Vayadasha, Arabhayadasha. And he at this time he drowned in the ocean, and when he was drowning in the ocean, the Tirtha Samudra, the ocean off of Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya was dreaming, and in his dream he entered Jalakaya Lila and Jamuna. And when the devotees found him, Lord Chaitanya said, "Where are you taking me? I was in the Yamuna. I went to Vrindavan. I saw Nanda Maharaj sporting in the pastimes. Krishna was in the Yamuna with Radharani and the gopis, and they were sporting, splashing water on each other. And I was watching them from the banks. I stood on the banks of the Yamuna. One gopi was showing some other gopis the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in the water. I was watching. All the gopis entered the water of the Yamuna and started splashing water on Krishna. And they entrusted all their garments and ornaments with me. I waited on the bank. When they came out, then we dressed Radharani and Krishna gopis in fine new cloth. So, who's Lord Chaitanya then? Lord Chaitanya is not Krishna. He's seeing Krishna, he's seeing Radharani. He's not a gopi. He's not one of the other gopis, the Lita Vishaka. He's a Manjari doing humble seva to Radha Krishna Lila. So in chapter 14, chapter 18, it shows Lord Chaitanya savoring Manjari Bhav. Manjari Bhav ki jai. There's pictures of that also in this book. You can see it. There's two paintings of Lord Chaitanya watching Radha and Krishna enter the cave. Let's see if I can find them. Let me show it. Pictures all one place. This fast sign in the lower left-hand corner, lower left-hand, right here. It shows there's a cave at Govardhan, Radha Krishna entering a cave, and the gopis are down here, lower than the cave. And Lord Chaitanya is dressed as sannyasi. He's with all the gopis. And the gopis are picking flowers. You see it?
yes.
See Lord Chaitanya?
In sannyasi dress.
Sannyasi. Sannyasi, all the gopis. No funny thing. He should also be a gopi rupa anyway. So he's not, Radha and Krishna entered the cave, so he's not them, you know. That's cool. I saw a painting in LA when I was there. I was 75. It's not full thing. Oh, this is just a splashing. Lord Chaitanya's not there. They're just splashing water.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's the new painting. Lord Chaitanya's not there, but he's on the bank. He's on the bank seeing this. Pictures worth 1,000 words, they say. Any other comments, any other questions? Russian questions?
Maharaj, there is one question on your YouTube channel. One child asked you. It's on your YouTube. Should I read you?
Yeah, okay. Child?
Yes, 12 years.
Sounds like a Manjari. Fellow Manjari.
Oh Swamiji, please show me the way. I'm 12 years old and I want to start bhakti from now. And I want to approach Gopi Bhava. So what to do for it? And my parents totally say me to focus on my studies. They allow me to do only a bit of bhakti. Swamiji, please, please. It's my request. Could you please take a video to approach Gopi Bhava? Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe.
What was that last part?
Oh Swamiji, please, please. It's my request. Could you please make a video to approach Gopi Bhava? Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe.
How to begin Gopi Baba?
Yeah,
Yes,
how
how to
he
follow,
can start
how to start.
Increase and develop Gopi Bhava in him. He is 12 years old and parents give only little time to do bhajan. So he's just eager to get Gopi Bhava and he asking you what to do. Can you make video on this topic?
Show the way. He or she asks you, show the way what to do. So, yeah.
There's a question from a 12-year-old girl. Girl?
I don't know. Boy?
12-year-old boy. That's interesting. 12-year-old boy who's in the middle of study, lives with his parents and is doing his studies. He doesn't have much time, but he wants to cultivate Gopi Bhav. How does he start? What this shows is Purva Samskara. Purva means prior. Samskaras from last life. Permanent, has lasting impressions and it's stored in his chitta from last life. And now he's 12 years old and those sanskars are coming out. Because last life this person was practicing Gopi Bhav. Very extraordinary jiva, interested in such a subject matter. To develop Gopi Bhav, you should hear from devotees that are in Gopi Bhav and read books about Gopi Bhav. So read the books of Raghunath Das Goswami, which are translated in English, with the commentaries of Anantadas Babaji Maharaj. Because with those commentaries, you'll understand something more about Gopi Bhav. Read Prem Bhakti Chandrika by Narottam Das Thakur with the commentaries of Anantadas Babaji Maharaj. And you'll understand something about Gopi Bhav. And you listen to, if you know English, you listen to Mahanidhi listen to Mahanidhi Swami's stuff. Mahanidhi Swami's audios, mahanidhiswami.com. He has a folder called Manjari Bhav Sadhana, the folder. In that folder, there's many lectures about Vrindavan Mamrita, Manjaris, and Shirad or Manjaris, and you can learn a lot of things there. And there's a lot of articles there, articles in Russian language, translated by Sriji Dasi.
On Facebook.
On Facebook. No, on website.
On website not yet. Mukund not replying me. He'll sick. I'm waiting when he'll be okay.
It's not on the website.
Not yet. I'm waiting on Mukund to give
It says Russian on it.
It exists, but to upload it, it's like he need to get me knowledge how. and I'm waiting in Kunda, but he's like.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so English, many articles are there about gopis and Radharani, you can see. So that, all good luck to that 12-year-old person. Best of luck. I pray to Radharani that they'll be more and more attracted to Gopi Bhav and learn more about it and become properly guided to become a follower of Radharani and Gopi Bhav. It's a nice letter. Response to YouTube, 12-year-old. Where country are you from?
Maybe India. Sandeep.
Might be India. Sandeep. The name is Sandeep. Should be Indian.
Indian. Bharatiya Vasi, Gopi Bhav. Lucky guy. Where were we when we were 12 years old? What were we doing? Jai Gurudev. Any other questions? Okay.
I wanted to understand what is the connection between Nityananda and Ananga Manjari. Can you please explain about this topic?
What's the connection between Nityananda and Ananga Manjari? That's like saying, what's the connection between Krishna and Radharani? In other words, one is Shakti, one Shaktiman. But it's not exactly a fair comparison. Nityananda is in Gaur Lila, Ananga Manjari is in Krishna Lila. They're completely separate entities. One doesn't expand to become, they're completely separate entities with separate mantras and separate positions and separate gatis and separate sevas and separate sambandhas with Krishna and other parikars. But everyone tries to lump everything together. Nityananda is not Ananga Manjari. Ananga Manjari is a completely separate personality. Ananga Manjari is expanded from Radharani. Ananga Manjari is a younger sister of Radharani. Nityananda is an expansion of Balaram. Balaram Nitai. Balaram Nitai. So, like Garanga, who is Vishnu Priya and Lakshmi Priya? Their energies, the Shaktis of Garanga. So, Ananga Manjari is in Gaur Lila, that's Janamata. Janamata is a unique personality. It's not that Ananga Manjari becomes Janamata. Janamata is Janamata, Ananga Manjari is Ananga Manjari. They try to make, people like to homogenize everything, make everything one. It's not, it's one and different. It's one Shakti, multiple manifestation, one Shakti, and one Shaktiman, and multiple manifestation, one Shaktiman. Adi Shaktiman is Krishna, Adi Shakti is Radharani. They expand in so many female forms, and so many male forms. They're all independent, separate, and individual. They have their own roles to play, their own interactions. Nityananda has no what's relation to Nityananda? Nityananda is Gaur Lila. Like what's relation to Krishna and Gauranga? Nothing. Gauranga is a Brahmin, Krishna is a Vaishya, is a whatever, coward boy, whatever. There's not, one where there's no similarity. One's dark, one's golden. There's no similarity at all. One follows rules and regulations, all kinds of Maryada. One doesn't follow any rules. Lord Chaitanya follows all kinds of rules and regulations, Maryada. He talks all night with Ramananda Roy. When it comes time to eat food, he has to go eat from the hand of a Brahmin. He can't eat from Ramananda Roy because he's Kayast. That's the rule. A Brahmin eats from a Brahmin. So even though he's talking highest Rasa Katha, Prem Katha with Ramananda Roy, when it comes time for food, they can't even eat together. Because he's following strict Maryada, strict conduct. So Krishna eats anything, anywhere, anytime. You're eating something, you take it out of your mouth, I eat it. So Krishna doesn't follow anymore, young. There's no similarity to Krishna and Lord Chaitanya at all. Lord Chaitanya is Lord Chaitanya, Krishna is Krishna. We say Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Gauriya is Gauranga, Krishna is Krishna. Chaitanya is Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna is Swayam Bhagavan. It's just Krishna's form, independent, separate, individual form, and for Gauranga Leela is Gauranga, is Krishna as Gauranga. Vas. Kala Radharani and Baba Radharani. Nityananda Parivar can tell you more things about the Nangamandri. I don't pay so much attention about Nangamandri, but Rupa Goswami describes Nangamandri as a Varishta Sakhi. He doesn't say she's a mandri. As far as I understand what I learned, Nangamandri is only mandri by name, not by seva, not by sambandha, not by any way she's a mandri except by name. Her category is Varishta Sakhi. It's Radha Krishna Deshtiviga. Nangamandri is Varishta Sakhi. She's not in the category of mandris. There's Asa Sakhis, Paramapresha Sakhis, and Varishta Sakhis. She's a very high. She's in the Yoga pit Nangamandri is called Upasakhi. Upasakhi. There's Asa Sakhis and Upasakis. Mandris are one category. Asa Sakhis are another category, and Upasakis. Nangamandri, Kalavati, Kandharva, Phokalika, Shubhangada, etc. Shikavati, these are Upasakis. They're not mandris.
What is the difference between Astasakhi and Upasakhi? The difference between this group?
A matter of intimacy with Krishna, hierarchy, social hierarchy. Paramapresha Sakhis are higher on the social category. But Nangamandri, her kunj is right in the middle of Radha Kunda. So how supreme is that? The other Sakhi kunj is around Radha Kunda. Nangamandri is right in the middle, so she's a very primary position. Radharani's younger sister. So special. She's a special Sakhi. But her name is Mandri, that's all. There's Kandharva Mandri, there's Kalavati, there's Kandharva Mandri. She's also a Sakhi. Her name is Mandri. Nangamandri ki jai. She's very prominent here, Janamata. Mahajanava. Any other comments, questions? Next Sunday, 4 to 6. Tell everybody wants to know. It's too hot. It's too hot right now. So less too hot. Less too hot at 4 to 3. Especially you're coming from Vrindavan, motorcycle is like.
Eyes burning out of
Musty.
air. This hot air and asphalt, just all burning and dry in a second. I stopped 2 times to put in a pump water and make it wet to go further.
It's terrible.
So hot now.
Yeah, people wear wet gumshoes on their head, you know. They wear
Yes, all this chupata wet.
Yeah, that's cool. Keep
And
your
it's dry in 5 minutes.
keep your computer wet.
Computer, yes.
Computers need air conditioning. Anything more?
Maharaj, may I ask you?
Yeah, please.
Can you please clarify one moment? I have doubts about that. Like, I know that devotee by cultivating, doing bhajan, doing spiritual practice, seva, they become pure and more soft-hearted. And like, the enemies of our greediness, like jealousy, anger, they leave hard, dire through devotee who doing seva, who doing bhajan. So does it mean that, like example of the Rasa Muni, what kind, he is devotee and can be angry and punish at the same time, so his heart means not soft? Or I just want to understand this, can be the serial real devotee was fully in a bhajan connected to Radha Krishna and have angry, like these enemies in the heart, or it should be purified and then it means it's devotee. Like I want to understand that, how it works.
Question is asked, how does a devotee become soft-hearted and lose his bad qualities, harshness and meanness? Rasa Muni is not described as a pure devotee. He's a jnani yogi. He was famous for being angry. He was famous for cursing people and getting angry. So he's shown as, Maharaj is shown as an example of a devotee, had all tolerance and humility and respect for others. Maharaj was a king, we had all saintly qualities. The other person was a Vairagi Sadhu Rishi, but he had divine qualities of pride and anger. Damba is in 16th chapter of Gita. Damba is pride. It's a quality of asura sampat. It's a quality of a demon, to be proud. So Raswami is very proud and angry. These are qualities of demon. Raswami is not a devotee. So devotees may have anger and pride, but if they do proper bhakti bhajan, they become humble and become respectful to all. That's a fact. So what's your question? The more one develops bhakti, the more the good qualities appear within.
Yes, it's like that. So it's like test for myself. If I have some kind of emotions, anger, or it means I'm not practicing well, or like.
No, it doesn't mean that. Some devotees have a strong, one another is quite strong in them. And there's a lot of sanskars to express that same anartha. So they die, old habits die slow. They say old habits die slow. Old habits mean sanskar. So you may have a lot of angry sanskars in your chitta. So, but gradually they're going, they're diminishing by and by as you do more bhakti. It's not mean that overnight I'm not a pure devotee. I have this anger. I'm doing so much bhakti. I'm not free from anger. But I have to do more bhakti. That's all. You're a lot less angry now than you were 20 years ago. Let's put it that way. That's what you should see that difference.
Should we avoid association of?
Well, it's not the fault of bhakti unless you're making offenses in bhakti. You have to analyze that. Bhakti may not be having effect if there's offenses. But if you're not making offenses, you're practicing bhakti and still not seeing you're becoming pure devotee overnight, it means you have a lot of stuff to move out of the way. You have a lot of anarthas piled up there. You got to clear them out. More non-bhajan. Non-bhajan is the most powerful practice of bhakti. Nam is the most purifying limb of bhakti. Lord Chaitanya proclaims that. Shrestha, bhajan Shrestha, the most important and valuable and powerful limb of bhakti is Nam, chanting the holy name. More quickly purifies the consciousness than smaranam and other things. Sing more, chant more.
Do or die. It's all for I.
Yeah. Do or die, it's all for right. Don't die, do.
Do.
Do and do. Do and do for right. Don't do or die. Do and fry. do and fry, don't die. Not now. More frying than later with one dying. Jaya Radhe. Slow and steady wins the race. You're a better person than you were last year. I know. I'm a teacher. I'm measuring the progress. Jaya Radhe Sham. The Shakpadam bunch, boys? Shodavara? Shodavara, Prashna. Oh, do you have any questions more? Come on. Now, this easier, simpler questions.
Yeah, just actually something very basic, but we had some discussion on Krishna's age. So in Prakat Lila, Krishna goes through different ages, and the Prakat Lila is eternal in the sense it goes on in different universes, and if Vishnu take it back, then Yogamaya even creates universes so it can go on. But how is it in the Aprakat Lila? What is the age? We say, Prabhupada sometimes say, is eternally Kaishore, but what about then what sadhya ras is not eternal, or can you say something?
Yeah, the question is about Krishna's, in Prakat Lila, when Krishna manifests his pastimes in the Maya Jagat and Bhoma Vrindavan, some universe, he goes through changes of birth and growing up and all that. Balya, Poganda, Kaishore, Komara, all these ages. But in Nityalila, Astakaya, Nityalila, in Aprakat, Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, Brajagokul, Krishna is eternally one age. But the thing is, every age of Krishna, every Leela of Krishna is Nitya. It's eternal. So what we have in the Goloka, in the spiritual sky of Goloka Dham, there's Gokul, there's Gokul, Chatikara, and Nandagram. There's Gokul's Balya Leela for 3 years, Chatikara's Poganda Leela for 3.5 years, Gokul Leela, 3.5 years, Chatikara Leela, 3.5 years, Nandagram Leela. But there he doesn't go to Mathura, there's no Mathura, he's in Nandagram eternally. I mean that's here. But in there, in the Goloka Vrindavan, all these places are called parakastas. There's different sections. Like there's a Gokul in the spiritual world where Krishna never gets older than 3 years old. He's always eternally Makanchur, eternally Yashoda's changing him a stick, tying him up, this, that. That's going on eternally. And so all leelas are eternally. And so you're situated according to your own stairati, and your own stairati, you're situated in that section of Goloka where that rati is being experienced. So that's why Sakhi Manjris and Ragmarg and Gaudiya Vaisnava, they all take birth in Barsana and they all move to Yava to get married. There's no Gokul Leela, there's no Chatikar. They're born in Barsana, then they move to Yava and get married, or maybe don't get married, whatever. Live with their sister-in-law, live with their sister on a rooftop of an apartment, whatever. Have their own kutir, live their own kutir in Yavagram. And then they're just moving with Krishna and Nandagram for Gochan Leela, Radha Kunda Leela, Astakara Leela. That's their whole thing. And Sri Krishna says that Krishna's eternal age is 15 years, 9 months, 7.5 days. Radharani's eternal age is 14 years, 2 months, 15 days. That's eternal. So we'll go that place. We'll have our eternal age 12, 13, whatever, our Manjri's through. And we won't see Gokul, we won't see Yashoda, we won't see Gokul, we won't see Chaturanga, we won't see any of that. We'll just see Krishna always Kaishore. We'll see everybody read about it and go into the image of Balaram. We'll be living in all that reality, be our reality. Nandagram, go over, you have your kutir and go Radha Kunda or whatever. Eternally. Your Vaja kutir. You'll be behind me. on front. So it's like that. No change. But the unique thing is there's all these compartments. They're all going, like you go through some palace, you go one door, you see the king as a little baby. You go another door, see a king as a young boy. So if you were able to wander and see all the compartments, you go over to Gopal and see Krishna as a baby. Hey, that's cool. Now go to Chattikar and see him for Gundalila, killing Vatsasura and Agasura, and then you go to Nandagram. And we don't see any of that. There's one Yashoda in Nandagram, there's one Yashoda in Chattikar, there's one Yashoda in Gokul. There's 3 Nanda Maharaj, it's like it's thousands. Like when Narada Muni went to Dwarka, there's 16,000 palaces. He saw 16,000 Darukas, 16,000 Balarams, 16,000 different Krishnas, and 16,000 different queens. But the Vasudeva and Devaki were the same in every palace. Daruka was the same in every palace. Balaram was the same in every palace. The only player that was different was a different queen. 16,108 different queens, but the same Krishna, same Vasudeva, same Devaki, same Rohini, same Balaram, same chariot driver Daruka, same Jai Vijay, all the same. That's this transcendental realm. Everything's subjective, everything's individual, everything's personal. You're my Krishna, my Radharani. You're Krishna. You have a family, you're parivar, you know. Our Krishna. So I have my group with me, and I'm with my guru, his guru. So all our Guru Parampara, and our Sakhi forms, and our Radha Krishna, Lita Vishaka Manjari, we all have our own group, our own team, our own gang of Manjaris. Hare Krishna. It's fun. That's why I say family. It's an eternal family. Okay, I think that's it. We'll see you next week, 4 o'clock, 4 to 6. Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe, Jaya Jaya Sri Radhe.